Hello and welcome to the monthly brew gathering. We are here to talk about Taurus season and talk about the moon energies that are happening within the season. I'm Zane, a rising Virgo, Sun Pisces, and a Capricorn moon, here to bring a practical viewpoint to the energies that are happening. And Rochelle is joining me as co-host tonight. Once again, welcome.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, those that are watching here, and to our live audience that is in behind the scenes joining us as I share from a rising Pisces, Capricorn Sun, and Libra Moon, here to help you merge with the transits that are coming from the Sun and the Moon during Taurus season. For those of you that aren't following us yet on social media, we do regular posting, weekly body tools, as well as daily forecasts. And then there's other little tidbits to help support your astrology and aligning your body to those transits. Where we like to say we want to help you stir your brew rather than it steering you. So, with that said, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, and we're just going to jump into when Taurus season starts. I'll hand it back to you, Zane. Or I can keep going. You know that.
Yeah, yep. So Taurus season, we kick off Taurus season on April 19th. This is when the sun moves into Taurus at 9:39, or sorry, 6:39. Mixed up my numbers there. PM, and this is happening on a 6 energy day, the number of beauty and balance, bringing us awareness into awareness of family connections and abundance. The sun energy is wanting us to grow and deepen our family roots. Taurus is about fixed earth energy, the the seasonal and sensational energy connected to the earth itself. Could be nurturing and associated. We can tell this is more written by you than me because I'm trying to read from a script and then I'm trying to speak naturally.
Yeah, way to
So
call
you should
yourself
have
out.
continued on and not
Yeah,
me.
way to call yourself out. And this is really like a Taurus like energy that's coming. It's like looking at our truth, how we value and how we speak. And if we're reading someone else's words or we're operating outside of our values, outside of our comfort levels, then Taurus is going to give you, I'm going to say it, the horns, because it is depicted by the bull. It is like that fixed energy. So we could be looking like it's like stubborn and determined. But then you'll notice what Zane just did is he was determined to be able to be like, hey, wait a second, this doesn't fit me. This is actually your words. And now I'm just reading a script. And so let us know in the comments down below, those that are watching the replay there on YouTube, and even those that are here live, like, can you relate to that? This is what Taurus energy is going to want us to do. So this is again coming back to why we want to meet and greet you before the season comes, so then we can start to prepare ourselves to feeling that energy, so we're kind of ahead of the seasonal shift. So back to the high side of Taurus is like we're going to feel how we can ground ourselves. We're going to feel like we can take the weight on our shoulders, so to speak, and being able to speak our truth. What Zane just did. He was able to go like, hey, wait a second, maybe it is back to you. And again, as we create this community around astrology and using it in practical ways, as I said in my intro, I love to be able to help you merge. And Zane is about the practicality. So it was like, actually, wait a second, this isn't working for me. So the invitation for during Taurus season is to say what is working for me and what is not working for me. There is this part of us that we can really call on the energy of Venus. Hey, Zane, I know you can speak freely about Venus and why Venus would be important during Taurus season.
Well, Venus is important during Taurus season as this is where Venus is at home. When Venus is in Taurus, it's at home. And so that sense of Venus and Taurus kind of go hand in hand. they work together in this sense of symbiose, where if Taurus is out of balance, Venus within the chart might feel a little bit like struggling slightly. So our sense of value, our sense of love and beauty might feel like it's wilting away. Where if Taurus is strong and in the sense of values, in the sense of stability, all of a sudden beauty and love, romance, wealth can also start building up and coming with ease. So it's important to have that sense of making sure you're working with the planet, but also making sure you're working with the solar energy and the zodiac energy as well. And that's why we bring it up. Again, kind of repeating what Rochelle was saying, that sense of why we want to work with the energy and prep for it a little bit before we actually step into it. So then we can have that sense of stability when it comes to moving into the energy.
Hmm. And Taurus is ruled by Venus. So there is a part of our community time where participants that are here with us will get to choose which planets we talk about in behind the scenes. So if you are wanting to do more juicy conversations and be in community with us, and to have comfort around astrology, this is the place for you to come and join us. There's a link in our description, and also when you're following us on social media, there's a link in our bio. You can go to theenergeticbrew.ca and schedule yourself in for the following classes every Thursday, every second Thursday of every month. So let's, before we start talking about the moon energy, let's talk about the high side, the themes that might be coming up during Taurus. We've sort of touched on this a little bit. We have a couple of bullet points. So if you have your journal or note taking, now might be the time to kind of grab that for you, because part of the shadow expressions of Taurus is stubbornness, is possessiveness, being able to like have a throat grip on things, being able to, maybe even it's overindulging and to become complacent. So there's like, I've already done this. I got too comfortable. So then you might trip up and make mistakes, or maybe not feeling open to learning a new way or evaluating what is working versus what's not working. Zane, you want to talk about the high side parts of Taurus there?
The high side of Taurus is that sense of stability, like how was being mentioned earlier, patience, loyalty, material comfort, practical, practical, these, the one word,
Practicality. Yep.
the one
So
word we
good.
didn't practice there, and you thought,
Yeah.
didn't think would catch me up. Determination, and that sense of values and looking at and reassessing values.
Which
Whereas
is really important to look at, right? Like, what material assets do I maybe have? What is it that I might have too much of, that overindulgence, and being able to clear that out, being able to allow ourselves the connections with, yeah, looking at those values. Also, not just as in material values, but like, what are my beliefs, and are they serving me, and are they aligned with my goals? Okay, cool. I cut you off there. Was the practicality part.
yeah,
Again, use the chat, use the comments. Like, how are you laughing at yourself? How are you being able to bring in the sense of joy to your learning curves, to being able to stretch yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone? Because this is what we're here about. At the brew, we want to be able to put normalcy to being human. So the invitation that Taurus has for us is, there's a couple of journal questions of that we wanted to bring forward of what brings us comfort. Maybe you want to copy paste these into our chat for our group, and then help them this way so that it doesn't feel like it's going so fast. But what brings us comfort? What values are we ready to reaffirm? Where can we cultivate more patience in our lives. So, again, this is something during Taurus season that we can be working towards and even getting a little bit of a kickstart as we're coming to the sort of last little week and a bit for Aries season. This is getting ourselves aligned with Taurus energy. May 1st, you'll want to take a note, is going to be the Scorpio full moon. It might be called the flower moon, the full flower moon for some. The May full moon, and it's symbolizing our growth, our transformation. Now, for those of you that are new, we call it the Scorpio full moon because it sits across from Taurus. So if you were to think about a big circle and there is in that circle, if you were to think of like sort of like a clock face, they're sitting in opposite positions. So Taurus, as we were talking about, and we'll dig into a little bit more when we get into the body tool section of our call today, it rules the throat, whereas Scorpio rules the sacral and our creative energy, our reproductive organs, and such. So what'll happen is the sun will be in the sign of Taurus, and the moon will be in the sign of Scorpio, and they'll sit across from each other. They're going to illuminate each other in a sense. So during this full moon, we might want to think about our deep emotional insights, our transformation, things that we want to let go of, and celebrating intimacy, but also digging into where we might have fear around intimacy. So, yes, we're talking about sexual energy, but we're also just talking about closeness and being able to be vulnerable, as we've seen Zane do. I've done it many times in calls too. If you watch the Aries replay, super vulnerable there. And if you haven't watched it, you can go ahead. Maybe we'll link that into the description tonight. So, taking time to have this illumination come into our mental state, our financial patterns, being able to look at even how we might get tripped up and into the toxicity, the low side of Scorpio. So if we think about how Scorpio has the depiction of the scorpion, it's like we will tolerate so much and then the sting comes. So this might come up during this time, during this full moon. And in our notes here, that full moon is starting off May energy on May the 1st. And the energy in itself, the day energy is a 7 energy. So blending in a little bit of numerology on this full moon. Let me know in the chat too if you work with numerology or have some sort of pre-understandings of what that 7 is. And while I'm waiting for that to happen, I'll just talk about the balancing of these opposites of Taurus and Scorpio. There's this need for us to ground ourselves in the physical body, ground ourselves, and also some shadow work, maybe looking at the ego. You know nothing about numerology. Great, that's perfect. So the number day energy is a 7. And a 7 is about the physical world. It's about how much we've learned, what lessons might be repeating, or what do we still want to learn, and how do we treat our bodies in a way. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's that spring energy, so we will be wanting to taking some time to cleanse our body, take time to potentially make moon water during this full moon to be able to hydrate us, cleanse our crystals, our stones, and then really allow for the inner growth to take place, to embrace that deep emotional and personal power that might be hidden below the surface. And often in Taurus and Scorpio, there is a lot of hidden mysticism. Would you agree with that, Zane?
Yes, especially within Scorpio, as Scorpio's that sense of hidden values, I would say, where Taurus is more of that outward expression of values. So it's that still that sense of value, but it's whether if it's internal or external, conscious versus subconscious. So really that sense of coming into this full moon, what are maybe some values that are hidden behind the scene that might be coming out to express? or needing to be washed away during this full moon.
I like that. And there could also be, collectively speaking, now, this is stimulating the access of wealth and personal resources, the resources of others. So, depending on where Taurus and Scorpio land in your personal chart, you could be feeling this energy a little bit differently. So, taking time to contemplate, here's another journal question for you, or even something to think about, is what do I need to let go of or transform to step into my personal power? And the next part of this is, how can I create stability while navigating emotional intensity? So, this full moon is going to, from our perspective, bring that intensity. There are other transits that are stimulating this full moon as well, that it could be just compiling, and it's almost like a having to have, if anyone's ever done any fermenting or creating kombucha or making other things like, or if you've ever shooken something that has the CO2 in it and there's that pressure buildup. Taking this next couple of weeks before this full moon is clearing things out before the pressure gets too high. So it might be mental talking, it might be emotional things to process, it might be one too many things in the closet, it might be one too many things in the garage. Maybe it's just taking care of debt, financial responsibilities. I mean, the list goes on. So taking some time to really make a list, and without putting excess pressure on you, starting to self evaluate, like we mentioned. All right, should we check in with our group that's here or just go into the new moon? I'm just kind of curious.
Kind of mixed feelings, but since we have kind of a few new people, maybe doing that quick check-in
Yeah,
behind the scenes, so then we're not losing people jumping straight into the new moon.
yeah.
And then we also can check in with our regulars to see if they have any input on the full moon as well. So
Oh, that's
we
so
will
good.
be right back with the recording in a moment. So much fun happening in behind the scenes, talking about the charts, figuring out where the full moon might be, lighting up and releasing energy and letting us wash away, but also sink in more into our chart. And then having fun with Zoom meeting polls running in the background and figuring those out on discovering what we will talk about for later. But right now, we are here to talk about the new moon in Taurus. This is happening on May 16th at 1 p.m. right on the dot. So, fun little piece happening here with this new moon is it's happening at 25 degrees. This is going to be a reviewing of the past a little bit, but also the sense of stepping in and grounding in our sense of abundance, stability, and values. As within looking at the numerology, this happens on a 4 energy day. And 4 energy is about stability again, those foundations, and coming back to roots and that sense of where am I standing and what is important, but what also do I want to build? And so this new moon is really that heavy Taurus energy of where am I standing? How am I standing my ground? Or how do I need to build up the ground beneath me so then I can stand strong? And so the things that we could be building up can be that sense of material security, finances, can even just be self-worth, pleasure, and building up our sense of voice, as that's where Taurus shows up in the body. So it could be that sense of how we bring ourselves into community and use our voice. How do we speak? How do we convey our voice? If is that through actual voice? Is that going to be through like our typing abilities or through literature kind of idea? Like, where is our sense of self-worth and values going to be spoken from? And how are we going to speak about it during this new moon?
Mhm. Oh, I love that. And the new moon, again, that's at 25 degrees. I wanted to bring out that with it being on a four energy day, it's like, how can I speak from my physical body that feels good, that brings me comfort? And then we can be planting seeds about building ease and developing more comfort for ourselves. So one of the little side notes, and I was going to talk about it more so in behind the scenes with our group, but I want to add this in to the recording part. So take a look back to 4 years ago, and the reason why I want to say 4 years ago is because there was a total lunar eclipse back on, I believe the date was the 15th, May 15th.
Yep.
2020 2022. I almost said 2002. Wow. Okay, that is not 4 years ago. Clearly, math is my strong suit. Again, being humble, being a real person, being a real human. So 25 degrees of Scorpio and Taurus. It was a full moon lunar eclipse where we're now in a new moon situation. So it's almost in a sense, and I'll speak boldly here from my perspective, is there's this reset that is happening, an opportunity for us to look at the last 4 years, what worked, what didn't work. And the highlight in this is the star of Medusa, the goal. So it's happening very, very close to this fixed star in the sky. And so part of this, there's a lot of stories and myths about Medusa. One of the ones that caught my attention is it's about the beheading. It's about being able to turn things to stone. Now, from the studies that I've done, Medusa was not treated very well. And if we think about the last 4 years, how have you treated yourself well, but how have you treated yourself not well? Or maybe where in community or in relationships have your values been violated or been honored? So take this time during this new moon to, if it feels good for you, to plant the seeds of comfort, to plant the seeds of abundance, of more joy. And if this last review of the last 4 years, you could look at social posts that maybe you did, text messages, maybe if you've kept records for that long, past emails, phone, like on your phone, different pictures, any sort of journal entries, day timers, however you track your life. Take the time to revisit and to see how that has happened, what has happened for you. And in astrology, we look at this part of Medusa helping to behead people, to be able to watch what can fall when it comes to abuse and misuse. So, in a sense, bringing back a restorative balance by natural law and natural order. So, let us know too. We were really curious on how that is. I think we kind of carried on enough about the new moon in Taurus. For those that want to be able to work with this energy, you can book a reading, join our membership, or send us a message with some questions. We're happy to be able to help and service you and meet you with where your needs are. So, with that, know that you can take the time for material security, finances, self worth, pleasure, and values, being able to have the emotional feels and balance as the sun and the moon come together on May 16th at 1 p.m. And that is in Pacific Daylight Time at 25 degrees of Taurus. So, with that, I think we will pause. Actually, we have one little question there about what intentions can I plant today to grow stability, abundance, and joy in my life, and how would I take practical steps towards them? These are the questions that go with the new moon in Taurus. So this is lovely. We'll check back in with our live audience here, find out what they want to talk more about. If you're wanting to participate, make a comment in the little comment section if you want to know more about Mercury in Taurus season, if you want to know more about Venus in Taurus season, or if you want to know more about Mars in Taurus season, because these are some of the main players that are going to be shifting and changing and activating Taurus season. So I think with that, we'll check in with our group and we will come back with the body tool for Taurus.
And we're back for our final bit of the recording here after sharing some extra tidbits of transits of how to work with Taurus season. We're gonna wrap this up tonight with a body tool. Which body tool are we doing tonight? We got the what
Central
meridian?
Meridian. I like how you're learning this skill. I like it. It's so fun. Let us know in the comments below too. What skill are you learning about? Are you able to prompt others and share the microphone? Is that a tool or a skill you're working on? Maybe it's something different. We want to hear from you. So, when I was looking at the transits of Taurus season and looking collectively at the last 4 years of what has been happening in the skies, I came to the determination that the central meridian needed to come to play for Taurus season. One, it happens to be in the center core, is where it starts in the pelvic region, and it comes all the way up through the midline of the body and ends at the chin. So it goes right through where Taurus is in the body. Aries season was really fast paced. And this fast paced energy in this fire horse year is not going to be stopping anytime soon. So, the more that we can activate our brain, our nervous system, and to support how we store energy within our bodies, the central meridian felt like a no-brainer for me, no pun intended, especially when you read the affirmation. So when it comes to Taurus season, here's the body tool for the whole entire season. We're going to start at the central core area, again in that pelvic region, and coming up through the midline of the body. And if you so choose to use the words that we have, this affirmation, while tracing this line on your body, I am filled with clarity. My thoughts support my highest good. My mind is clear. So again, if there's any residual parts of Aries season that felt incomplete, tracing this can help to resolve and push that energy out of the body. It can also help us to celebrate the body and feeling into it. So within 3 inches of this line, for accuracy, you can hover above the body, you can touch the body, you can even do deep touch and slowly go at your own pace. The invitation here is to trace this line as many times as needed to feel that transition in your mind or in your body, clear that brain fog out, clear out that sluggish energy that potentially can happen with that low side energy of Taurus. And we would love to hear from you. Zane, did I miss anything there?
No, I don't think so. I would say that you covered it all. That sense of use this meridian to help you move through Taurus season. Find that sense of a little bit more of stability when it comes to your mind, but then also maybe to give you a little bit of a boost of energy to stand on your own feet too.
Mm-hmm. You reminded me too, one of the things that we can do with this one, and actually all the meridians, is we can take our hands, except for the heart meridian, we don't want to do it with that, but you can also hover over it and flush it, sort of using your hands like this and waving over top of that to help clear it out, and then trace it from the center core up to the lower lip, the chin area. Mm-hmm. Let us know in the comments, what did this feel like in your body before we head off and spend some more time with our gathering. Those that are here live with us, we want to wish you the best Taurus season. We appreciate you being here, giving us a thumbs up, hitting that notification bell and becoming a subscriber. Those that want to dive in deeper to body tools based on their chart for the transits, you can join our membership. You can find that on our website, the energeticbrew.ca. So thank you again. Be sure to follow us for more tidbits, more brew bits on how to stir those transits for yourself and awaken whole being wellness. And with that, I'm going to say good night and let you finish this off.
Yeah, sounds good. Good night to the recording, and we will see you in Gemini season May 14th. Link in the description to kind of come live and join in on the conversations in behind the recording, and hope to see you there.